So this is our story. We decided a bit ago to tell our story to a video because a lot of the people that are in Quimby's side of the family and friends are overseas. And so they didn't really get a chance to hear how we met and how that all happened and took place. So we thought we'd do a little YouTube video and tell that adventure that we went through. We were actually talking earlier, trying to figure out where should we start. And so we kind of figured out that, the world we live in right now, we were wearing masks. That's what we could remember. So I remember the first time I met her, she was wearing a mask. I could just see her eyes. And it was, she was working at Cascade Christian as a program supervisor. And I was working as their IT guy. So I was with a company that kind of did all their computer support and stuff. And I was dispatched out there to install their new copy machine. And it was kind of a point in my life where I don't know that I was really looking for anybody. I tried the whole eHarmony thing and, I was doing all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm a little older. I'm 46. And so I'm not, I've been around the block a couple times. And so just the way that God has my life going, I just wasn't really looking. And so at this point, I'm just putting in a computer, and here's Quimby, helping me figure out what names to put in the copy machine. Really all it is, just like, we have to set up the machine to do stuff. And I just can remember I can remember being in that office and we were just chatting. I remember sitting there just talking to her. It was easy. And I didn't really think, at that time, I really think back, I don't remember thinking too much about it. All I could see was her eyes. It was just forward up. So, remember we talked about her family because she has the accent, obviously. Where's that accent from? And she's telling about her family, and I just felt how, it was a cool person to talk to. And I remember leaving and just kind of left. And this was like January of 2021, right in there, 2020. January of 2020, because I think it was just right after things were starting, with the COVID thing was hitting. And I remember leaving and getting in the car and just driving away. And I can think back to it now, and she just didn't even think about it. But I remember like a week later, I go, maybe even a day later, I don't know the number, a long time ago. I was like, that girl was easy to talk to. She's got pretty eyes. Oh my gosh, I just remember thinking her eyes were beautiful and that she was really easy to talk to and she had a really cool accent. And the cool thing was it was just so natural to have a conversation with her. There was no, we had a lot in common just about life and
Hose-pipe water.
Hose-pipe water, that was a little later, right? I remember thinking that too. Because at that point, after that, I'm like really interested in her. And I remember about, I don't know, how long later? It was a little bit later, her boss at the time, Tina.
Mm-hmm.
She worked at a different location at the same school district. It's another building a little bit further away. And I was out there again at one point. And I remember asking her, just kind of like, she was in a whim. I just asked her, hey, what's Quimby's story? And she goes, I don't know. I think she's single. And I go, because a lot of the women at that school and that school district were pretty young. And here I am, like a 44-year-old guy. I don't want to be some weirdo trying to, ask a, 22-year-old girl out, and so I asked Tina, how old do you think she is? And she's like, right then and there, text her. I'm like, no, what are you doing? She asked her, how old are you? And I'm like, you can't. And so you, I guess, got the text and...
Yeah, I got Tina's text and I thought that we had just filled out paperwork for new insurance plans. And she was asking me, how old are you? So I thought, it's just a question for the insurance paperwork. And then she said...
Did she ask you were single?
She said, are you single? And I was like, yes. And then something kind of she asked me something else. Are you dating anyone right now? And I thought, wait a minute, that's not a health insurance
HR question.
And then she said, because Patrick's asking after you.
Did she ask right down there?
She did.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then she said, can I give him your phone number? And I said...
Right down there? I don't think...
And then I said, yes.
Because at that point...
And then he didn't call me.
Well, hold on. So at that point, she goes, Tina, there was a little bit of a weirdness and all that, but Tina, we were just talking about it, and she goes, yeah, she's 39, 38 right in there. At that point, 38. I'm like, oh, 38, all right, great. I'm single, and she was really easy to talk to, and so it's like, oh, okay, so here I am. I haven't been on a date for a long time, so I don't know, I'm not the best guy at asking girls out. It kind of took me a while with her. So, for like, I don't know, a couple months even, I was with Tina. I was talking to her, and we were trying to figure out a way for me to ask her out. Like they call it the pony. It's this little inter-office person that mails stuff around. Maybe put a letter in there, that kind of thing, and didn't do it. I guess I came like lots of times. I was coming over there, and you were.
I was, and I told our admin assistant Paula and Wendy, the receptionist, that I had a crush on Patrick, and to let me know whenever he came to our campus. And I am a bad flirter.
This is the thing we've talked about. She does know. I said, all she had to do is like touch me, or you do the laugh, and no, had no idea Nothing. She had anything.
And every time you would come, I tried so hard to break my computer all the time. But the times you would come, they would call me on my phone and say, hey, Patrick's here. And then I come out of my office, but then inevitably get pulled in a different direction.
Some kids did something stupid somewhere.
To go and put out some fires some way. And very rarely, then I'd come back up, and then...
I mean, all you had to do is... I mean, I would stand in there. She had these little xylophone thing, and I'd stand in there and just like play it. Because I'm just so, anyway.
That's a different story.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't...
That's one of the last times you came to Cascade when I was there, my computer was legitimately broken, and you came to fix it, or...
Well, we were normal.
I don't know, switch passwords like you did made us do every 3 months or something. I don't know. And the typical protocol was he would come into my office and stay on the other side of the desk.
There was no protocol.
This is how it happened all the time. I remember.
Well, because I didn't need to help you with your computer.
And then I would log into my computer, then I would get up off my chair and then move away from my desk, and you would come in and then do your thing.
Yeah, but this thing was like, I just had to fix something for you right there. It was like ProCare or something. I just had to get you logged in real quick. So it wasn't like...
That is true.
We didn't need to do anything. It was like, oh, hold on, let's try this.
And then, so this time, the other program supervisor, Heather, sat across from me in the office. And I went around to my desk and I sat down, logged in. And Patrick came around my desk and he was playing with my xylophones, and I'm looking at Heather like, what? I'm starting to have a high school...
What was on the other side of the desk that the xylophones are, yeah.
Yeah, so I was having a bit of a high school girl moment.
Because I was just kind of trying to hover.
And then I logged in and I said, okay, I'm logged in. And I started to get up, and Patrick proceeds to lean over me. And he
had
didn't
no
notice.
Idea.
And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh.
Had no idea.
Because you smelled so good.
No idea. All she had, and so this is like 6 months.
Close to me.
This is 6. We could have had 6 more months. It was 6 months before I even tried to ask you out.
And Heather's sitting across the office going, and I'm trying to tell her.
So I didn't come over there too often. So every now and then I'd show up. And I remember there was another time I showed up, and so I kind of was trying to get the timing right for just life and things in general, and trying to figure out, okay, when should I ask her out? And because I wanted to be ready and to ask her out. I don't know how to say that, but so finally get to the point where I'm going to ask you out, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask her out. And I remember there was one time we were standing in Paula's office. It's just a little office. Her name's Paula, and we were just talking to each other. I'm like, I'm going to ask her out, and I didn't. And I left. I was so mad at myself. I was like, oh my gosh. Why didn't I ask? I should have done it.
And nobody called me out that time.
I know. She was there. It was but anyway, that was, I don't know. It is what it was. Mm-hmm. So this whole entire time, the other interesting thing, I guess, is that the bummer thing was that her boss was telling her that I had her phone number, and she thought I had it the whole time. I never had her phone number.
And
that
I was really ticked off that you were not calling
no
or texting
idea.
me.
Right, so this is the kind of
I was
funny
like,
part of the story.
Fine,
I'm not sure how that
let
happened.
it go. I'll keep dating other guys. That's what happens. Girl's got to move on when she thinks the guy that she wants isn't interested.
Right. So, finally, I get the gumption up to ask her out. And things were coming together as far as his life and that kind of stuff. I'm going to ask this girl out. And, I remember just gearing up to ask her out. And I had it, that schedule was there. It was, we have to, because we get, the company would dispatch us on certain days for certain things. We only go there when we needed to be there. So I'm like, okay, I get to go. And I'm like, I'm going to do it on this day. Because I had we were installing a new internet service or something. It was like a scheduled day. I think because she's always there every day. And so I get it, it's all scheduled. And then our ticketing system, these emails come in. And here's this email that says, exiting user Quimby DeWitt. I'm like, are you kidding me? I finally get it, my gumption, up there, and she's gone.
I don't make it easy.
She's gone. So they let her go. So she's not there anymore. So I'm thinking, well, this woman's gone forever. I'm never going to see her again. This is done. And I'm praying to God. I'm like, God, I had everything all figured out. And I was going to ask this girl out, God. And I thought that was the deal. I was going to ask this girl out. And it must have been 2 or 3 weeks. And I go into so Tiffany, the HR director at CCS, needed...
Who is also a matchmaker.
Yes, pretty much.
Well done, Tiffany.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go into her office. I remember, it was just like an out of whim. There was nothing planned here. I just go into her office and sit down. We were chatting about something. And I'm pretty good friends with her, and just business friends, and actually became, decent, just talk about life kind of friends. And I remember sitting down, we were just chatting, and she goes, oh, I need to get Quimby's files from when she worked here. And I'm like, oh, I can get that for her, so I get it done. And I kind of give Tiffany a hard time, I was going to ask her out literally 3 days, and 3 days before that, you let her go. You big jerk. And she laughs a little bit, goes, really? You were into Quimby? I have her phone number. You want her phone number? I'm like, no. You can't give her, that's not how it works. You just can't randomly give a girl my phone number, or get a girl's phone number, because, I call her out of the blue. It's just gonna be weird. So here, tell you what, why don't you just text her and find out if I can call her. And so, that's kind of how I left it at that. And about 20 minutes later, I get this text in my phone. I'm like, uh-oh. Because I have her phone number now, and now I really have to call this girl. Oh, man. And I remember it's always going through my head, what am I going to say? What's the first thing I'm going to do? And how's that going to work? I was so nervous. And that was on a Thursday.
You took your time.
Hey, I had plans. So, I had to make sure I did it right. So that, so it was Thursday. And so I know, so I'm like, okay, I got to get this right. What am I going to do? And that weekend at church, remember I told a buddy of mine named Alistair, and he's been a part of this journey. And he has been a big part of my life and helping me through just life in general. Good guy to talk to, good guy to share life with. And I can remember telling him about Quimby quite often. He's like, dude, you just need to ask her out. And there's this other guy named Miguel, and he's a worship leader at our church, but he's that kind of guy, Alice is a very nice guy, gentle soul. He's the kind of guy, he'll just encourage you to do things. Miguel, on the other hand, is my kind of guy. The way I react and relate to people, he'll let you have it and tell you, this is what you need to do. And so I remember telling them, it was Sunday morning, and we were just chatting. I was telling Alistair about Quimby. It's like, I have her phone number now. What am I going to do? I got to text her. So nervous. I want to, impress her and all that kind of thing. And I remember Miguel standing right there next to us on the table, says, dude, call her right now. You need to call her now. He's putting on the full court press. I'm like, I will. I promise I'll call her. I just don't, geez. And I remember he goes, seriously, dude, if you don't call her right now, I need your man card. Just hand your man card back to me, and I'll give it back to you after you call her. And so that kind of got me going. It's like, okay, fine. I'll text her. And so Miguel was kind of that catalyst that got us going. So he was pretty sure that he's the only reason we're getting married. God has
kudos, Miguel.
Yeah, right. And so
thank you also.
And so
I I'll just do the shout outs.
Right, the shout outs, yeah. Right. So that, I remember that Sunday night is when I finally texted. We still have the texts, the whole string of texts. And I remember that night I texted you, I said, hey, Quimby, this is Patrick. It's basically, you want to go get coffee or drinks somewhere sometime.
And at that point, I was having a bit of a low in life moment and was laying on the couch crying my eyes out because life sucked. Shoving chocolates in my face. And I get your text.
It's like 8 o'clock at night.
And I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's from Patrick. And I look at this and I don't even open it. And I thought to myself, well, I can't answer the text like this. I'm a mess. So I ran to the bathroom, cleaned up my face.
Why do you have to clean yourself up? You're on a... It's a text message.
It's just
you can't even see your face.
It's just a thing. It's just a thing.
Oh my gosh.
So I cleaned up my face.
To text me back.
I read the text.
And to read it.
And I texted you back.
Yes.
And
you
I
usually
said,
like, how's it going kind of thing.
Yeah, I said, I'm doing well. How's it going? Yeah. And I just started a new job. So I said I needed to check my work schedule.
Then we kind of texted throughout the week. I was talking to her about her...
New office.
So she got a new office at her job, a job before the job she has now, and you were.
I was program supervisor there. My office was doubled as the staff lounge.
Right. So
with the kitchenette.
So here we are. So we're talking.
Noisy.
Yeah. So she's talking about how. So I remember we were talking about our offices, and I was talking about how my office was a cubicle, and I was like, "What is this palace you speak of?" That you have a door. So she had a door to her office. Here I have a cubicle. I'm like, so we're kind of going back and forth about how she has this amazing office with a door. And then she tells me she has a stove, a refrigerator, a sink.
And a microwave.
And I have like 12 feet square of a cubicle. And I think I showed you a picture of it.
You did.
Yeah. And so we kind of hit it off, just texting even. It was easy. I hadn't even talked to you verbally yet.
No. And then we set a date for that
And we set a date for that Friday. Finally, we decided to go...
What's the name of it?
Sorcy's. And we down here a little Italian restaurant.
In Sumner.
It's in Sumner, tiny little place. We set a date for Friday, 7, something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. And so I got there early, obviously. I remember sitting in my car. I was so nervous. I got there like 20 minutes early, sitting in my car waiting, like, because I'm like, oh my, it's like the first day I've been in a long time. And so so I remember getting there and I got us a reservation and she comes walking up.
You were in the restaurant still?
No, and I came out. Yeah, I came out the door.
Because I was wondering, where is he? Did I just get stood up? What happened? And then I saw you through a window and we waved at each other and you came out. And your very first words to me were, wow, you're human outside of work.
Right, because we always saw each other at work. I thought it was pretty good.
Not even a hi.
That's good enough. It's a greeting.
That's a greeting?
Yeah, it counts. But then the other cool thing was, so I'm standing here and, I can see her face now. She doesn't have a mask on. And so she proceeds to, the first thing she does, proceeds to get into her purse and pulls out a door. A tiny dollhouse door. Because I don't have a door. So she's over here rubbing it in with a door. Like, this woman is amazing. So she gets me a door on our first date. And I guess I had to figure out a way to show it up. So we went through the date. We were like, we talked for it was really easy to chat with you. I think we closed that place down.
We did. And it was the first date that I'd been on where, you have date foods that you eat.
Right.
You're not supposed to eat certain things. I just sat there going, butternut ravioli with all the sauce on it. And I don't care how messy it is. And I just felt really comfortable and
we talked about all sorts of things.
And then we went to ice cream.
We're like, we better leave. We're like, we better go because we've been sitting at this table forever. And so we went, and she got in the car with me to go get ice cream.
I did. I
don't do that.
I don't.
So we went to get ice cream in downtown Puyallup and shut that place down. We're chatting and just walked around a little bit after that. And then before she left, did I pray with you when you left?
No,
we hadn't done that yet. Not on the first date. We did eventually every day after that, though.
Yeah, that was our second date.
Second date, we did definitely pray every day.
Mm-hmm.
We always pray when we leave. So I asked her. She was like, "How brave are you?" And so
I seriously
this kind of
thought
keeps
you were
going part of the story, right?
I thought you were going to ask me to go bungee jumping or something. I was going to say no way.
So I said my community group was having a little event, and so I took her out, and she said yes. We went on to a 75-foot yacht tour around Puget Sound, over by the Tacoma Dome and around places. So her second date, 75-foot yacht, beautiful yacht.
It's where he hooked me.
Yeah. And on that, it was kind of a funny thing on that yacht. There's a funny story. So we kind of just planted ourselves on the second deck, second story deck of the yacht.
We were visiting with Josh and
Megan.
Megan.
Josh and Megan, some friends of ours. And then these other couple, do you remember the name still? It was a while ago. But this other couple that was there, no, it was just the wife of the couple.
Yeah, it was just the wife.
And she goes, so how long have you two been married? And I'm like, we've only been dating second date. And I was just like, second date. Suddenly like Quimby, I'm like, is she okay? And it was no big deal. It was just kind of funny. It just kind of showed how easy, how we were getting along so well. And tried to abduct her on that night.
Oh yes, the GPS was sending us through
all the way south of the.
Really.
It was really kind of funny. We're driving out there.
Roads
we're in
that
downtown.
Looked a little sketchy.
Yeah, because we were over in Gig Harbor. There's a bridge you have to go over that has a toll to get into Gig Harbor, which is on the other side of Tacoma, not too far away. But you have to kind of go over this bridge that has a toll. And I think the GPS was trying to avoid the toll, and it's like a 40-mile trip to go around that bridge. And so it was like this 45-minute or an hour and a half trip. It was trying to, like, I'm not trying to abduct you, I promise. And
it's kind of nice to have extra time.
yeah, so we got her back home that night. And that was actually pretty fun. That was a fun night. So we just kind of, dating went pretty good after that. That's kind of how we met. We've got some other fun stories about how between now and engagement.
I told him that I'm a very difficult person to surprise.
and
he took that as a challenge.
Challenge, right. So we've been dating for quite a while, and not a while actually, 2 months. It wasn't that long, quite a while. What does that mean? 3 months? Okay, quite a while. Whatever.
For us.
So for us. So, and we had the talks about, what of our beliefs and stuff like that. And one of the funny stories is, I can't believe you said. So we're sitting at this, we're walking around a lake, and we sat down and started talking about the intimacy talk. How does this, how do you believe in intimacy? All that stuff before marriage. And we have the same belief there. None of that before marriage. And you said
I could have used any other analogy, but I told him, you cannot milk the cow until you buy her. Poor analogy.
Can't milk the cow. So a couple weeks later, and we were, God was just putting this thing together. It was really easy. We were all on the same page about everything. It's amazing how God works when you're within His plan, and you're doing things and you're praying about things, and you're trying to listen to what He has for you, and especially in relationships. And it has made it challenging at times, because we know we are, where we're at. We know we're not naive to think, look, we've only been dating for 7-8 months. By the time we get married, it'll be a year. We understand that completely. And we're just trusting and keeping God at the center of that. And so that was, so it's made it really easy, or, easy, really has been easy. Normal challenges of just
it's
dating.
just felt really right.
Yeah, just right. Yeah, just settled in and right. And and I felt the same way. And so like a couple weeks later, I bought her a cow, literally a little model cow. Because I'm like, I'm not going to milk it. Don't get to milk it yet. But this is how committed I am to our relationship. So I bought her a little cow.
Bessie
the cow. And so, so that's one of the fun things. We just try to keep it fun. Mm-hmm. And then,
I had to wait the longest time.
Oh my gosh.
For him to tell me that he loved me.
The longest time. You're like 2 weeks in. You're like, I already love this guy.
I figured it out.
Yeah, you did.
Which that was a shocker to me because I was like, you can't fall in love with somebody fully in 2 weeks. And I prayed about it and really checked myself, and that's how it was for me after 2 weeks. And I remember we were at my apartment, we had dinner, we were watching a movie, and then you paused it or you turned off the movie or something, and we're just snuggled into each other.
And so, hold on, let me tell you, so before that, I had been talking to Alistair about you, and quite often, and I just was like, can you fall in love with a girl that soon? Like, how do you know? I mean, it seems kind of crazy. So I think I'm falling in love with this woman. It's easy, and it seems right, and I'm falling in love with it. And he's like, and Alice said to me, hey, whatever you're feeling, you just gotta trust it. You gotta trust what that is. And so that night, it had kind of a fun day. We had adventures, and so I remember sitting on the couch, and this was after I asked you to be my girlfriend. So you were already my girlfriend.
I was already officially your girlfriend.
Officially your girlfriend. Hadn't kissed you yet, though.
No, that was also a very long wait.
Oh, come on. We had plans. It's very important.
You had plans.
Yeah, it was very important that, all the reasons are.
So I'm snuggled
not
up.
because you're kissing a girl, but because you love her, it's all those same things.
So I'm snuggled up to him.
Yeah, so I'm talking.
And then he says to me, Quimby, I have to address the elephant in the room. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh no.
Oh no.
He's breaking up.
But you gotta understand. So this is something I would do to her because she just thinks she remember, she thinks she's got it all figured out, everything. And so she thinks she, can see ahead of the game and know before something's gonna happen, I can't surprise her. And so I'd always try to keep her on her toes. And so I'd say, yeah, well, okay, keep her on your toes. So I go, I gotta address the elephant in the room.
I'm freaking out because I'm thinking he's going to break up with me.
I said, I think I'm falling in love with you. And so she doesn't say, I love you too, or anything like that.
I let out this amazingly huge sigh, loud sigh.
All I hear is...
And then I look up at him and I said, I love you too.
And so I was...
And he still didn't kiss me.
No, we did kiss you eventually.
No, not that
night. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, I waited a little longer. Yeah, keep guessing. And so, so she finally said, "I love you" back after she sighs.
I'm a sigher.
And so we've been really purposeful about how, at least I have. I've been very purposeful about all the things, all those seasons of life that we go through as far as dating relationship, because I really want to cherish those and have those moments and remember them well, and not have them be too mushed up with other things, so ask to be my girlfriend, and then, tell her I love her, and then kiss her, because I can kiss her because I love her. That's very important to me. And so after that, so finally, now we're starting talking about marriage, and we're like, this is right. This seems right. And
you had met my parents.
I met your parents, and they seemed.
And I met your parents. Actually, his mom told me she loved me before he told me.
Yeah. And we had them all over for Christmas.
We went down to Oregon for Christmas.
That's right. We went down to Oregon for Christmas. And they were all coming up for Thanksgiving. It was kind of crazy.
And then there was this one Saturday in October, I think, or September. You came over to my apartment and he said to me, get the laptop out. And I was like, what? Okay. So I opened the laptop and I said, I was handing it to you, and you said, no, search engagement rings. And I went, what?
Well, we've been talking about it.
We had already talked about it, but I was like, is this really happening right now?
So we had her pick out like 20
crazy I sent you like 10 different rings I liked, and maybe threw in a couple of crazies there.
Yeah, too bad you didn't get the crazy one. So we started looking for, so that kind of thing. And so November rolls around, and I'm thinking to myself, I gotta ask her dad for permission to marry. And the funny thing is being from South Africa, her dad being a tribal elder, I remember kind of saying, hey, is there still like the dowry thing or whatever it calls? She goes, no, it's a Lobola. And I'm like, oh, we should find out what that is, what they're going to require me to, have your hand in marriage. What's going to be the Lobola that got a Lobola?
Lobola.
Yeah, Lobola that I have to, the bride price that I have to, so I Googled this Lobola thing too. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I was auctioned off.
Yeah.
Which is shocking because according to the tribe, I'm way past my expiration date and, you know.
No.
I know.
So, well, yeah. So we find out eventually what it is. And the first thing they come back with is her dad says he wants 2 elephants.
And?
2 elephants. And then like a week later, they throw in a duck. But not any duck, a mallard duck. And that was her mom, apparently, that threw that one in. So they're obviously trying to throw me for, trying to
make you work for
me work for it. So I worked on that for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, just trying to find. I got so many elephants around here because I was trying to find the right. So I eventually ended up getting him a couple of model elephants from like Ukraine or some Slavic country, Slovakia, something like that. It came from Eastern Europe. It came from way over there. Finally found a couple elephants, little model elephants, and a little mallard duck model. But even better yet, I ended up getting him actual elephants. I went to the World Wildlife Rescue Foundation and he adopted 2 elephants. I think it's a mother and a baby.
Calf.
Yeah, a calf. So she now is the adopted owner of 2 elephants. So I remember
I was really happy.
Yeah, on Thanksgiving weekish, right? So Thanksgiving is here in the States. Thanksgiving's always on a Thursday, and then Friday is off. And so they came over on Wednesday, and so I went over.
But I had to work on Wednesday.
She worked Wednesday. I didn't work Wednesday, and I personally didn't work Wednesday.
And my parents just went to my apartment. They had to let themselves in.
And so I met them there Thursday.
Wednesday,
thank you. Wednesday to ask Ivor and Christina to marry Quimby. I remember it was kind of cool because Ivor, you guys know Ivor, I'm sure, Mr. Stoic, he's not going to give you an inch. But we've gotten pretty well along. And he goes, okay, it's about time. You got something to ask me. And so finally, so I figured this is coming. So I finally asked him and Christina, I asked them both, and he said yes, and I gave him his elephants and ducks.
The
Lobola. 2 elephants and a duck. He has put them on the mantle or somewhere on a, at the apartment.
In a place of pride.
Place of pride, yeah. He texted me a picture of them on Friday, and I'm like, what are you doing? Because, you can see my phone where it is in the car. I'm like, oh no. So, because you hadn't asked you to marry me yet. And so remember.
That was a really weird thing because we were going somewhere and you swipe the text message away really quickly, and usually it's not that big a deal to you.
Another part of the story I kind of forgot was this whole entire time, we had been talking about, she knew I was going to ask her to marry me. And the joke was, I'm going to tie my shoes a lot. I'm just going to get down, tie my shoes. Nope, that's not it. To keep her guessing. And I'm pretty sure she'd probably smack me every time, but
you didn't tie your shoes once.
Not once, because I kept telling her quite often, only 185 days until I ask you to marry me. And then I would tell her if she mentioned anything about the wedding or getting married or asking me to marry her, it would add on extra days. So it's kind of funny.
You tacked on days even when I was talking about somebody else's wedding.
Yep, because it counts. So
it doesn't count.
348 days. So I was just kind of setting her up to have her have no idea when I was ask her to marry me.
Then we had Thanksgiving with both families. Well, my parents and your parents and siblings, and everyone got along great. We're all a bunch of nuts.
I know.
Has same senses of humor.
Right.
So
the crazy people.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, everyone was extraordinarily attentive to me a little bit that day, and I was like,
because they all seen the ring. I already knew I was going to ask her to marry me.
Everybody saw the ring.
Yeah.
And I remember we were sitting at the table, and
we did the whole
the blessings.
What are you thankful for?
What are you thankful for? And they're like, Patrick, what are you thankful for? Go ahead, Patrick. What are you thankful for? And I was like, he's getting there,
Well, funny thing is I knew that Quimby didn't want this done in a bunch of people. She wanted just me and her. She's
I'm not a big flash mob, jumbotron.
Right.
In front
So
of people
I knew that
engagement
about
room.
her, and so I was really careful to find the moment. And I remember I knew I was going to ask her to marry me. I kind of set the deal. I was like, I'm going to ask her to marry me by the end of this weekend. It's happening no matter what. And so she calls it engagement weekend now.
It's engagement
weekend. So what I ended up doing is she had never been to Seattle and been to different places in Seattle, all the kind of little places. And I was like, well, maybe I'll find a good place to go, and the perfect moment, right? Just find the moment. So I remember I had the ring, and I put the ring in a little pouch, and I shoved it in my pocket. And so I told myself, as soon as Ivor says yes, that I can marry you, I'm going to have that ring with me at all times whenever we go out. So from literally on Thanksgiving Eve, Thanksgiving all day, I had it in my pocket, and then all that whole weekend. And so, so Friday we go on a trip to Seattle, take the whole day and just roll around Seattle. The weather, it's Washington, so the weather was rainy.
It was rainy all weekend.
Yeah, we had a rainy weekend. And so we go to Seattle, went to a place called Golden Gardens. It's this little beach place up, it's kind of like a nice sandy beach up north. And then on the way back, hit Dick's Drive-In, you got to go to Dick's Drive-In if you want hamburgers in Seattle. So you go to Dick's Drive-In and do that, and that was really good. And then ended up at Gasworks Park, and there was no places there. There's too many people around. So from Gasworks Park, we we came back home, and we get to our old stomping ground of our walk, went to Bradley Lake Park. It was getting dark, and I remember she was all like, why does he keep saying it's so dark out? Because I was going to do it at Bradley Lake Park that night. I was like, maybe I'll just do it here. And it just did not feel right.
Yeah, we're sitting on the bench, and he keeps doing this, looking around.
There's no one around.
What is he doing? This is
didn't
really
work out.
weird.
So we went home.
And then I just kept going, can we go? It's getting dark. And you're like, no, let's just wait a few more minutes. And
it just didn't work out.
Finally, I was like, let's just go.
So we went home.
So
then Saturday rolls around, and we was kind of a later start. I think I wasn't feeling all that hot to get going. And then we eventually ended up going to Point Defiance and had umbrellas because it was raining again. Just kind of walked out there and back in a little bit. Nothing came about that. There was no opportunity to ask her to marry me. And so I had this ring in my pocket the whole time. It's burning a hole in my pocket. I'm trying to keep her from even getting near my pocket. Not that it's kind of a weird thing. You don't ever get near my pockets, but I was so nervous that you'd notice.
At one point, my hands were getting cold.
You put it in my jacket pocket.
I put it in your jacket pocket, but you kind of flinched.
But it was in my pocket.
Why are you flinching?
So we ended up going home that night. Just doing whatever. It wasn't anything big. And then Sunday, church. And so what's funny, I did church, and she...
At that time, I was going to
a different church at the time. Yeah, we were still kind of different churches. And so I have served at the church in the morning. So pretty much the church knew I was going to do it that day. Kind of funny. And so I had the ring in my pocket. And you ended up coming back earlier because you got home from church earlier than I did.
Yes, I had finished serving earlier.
And so Christmas is starting, right? So it's time to...
So I thought, I got home early, I was waiting for him, and I thought, while I'm waiting, I'll just pull out my Christmas decorations and start decorating the apartment.
So I came over right after church, and...
we were going to go out.
We were going to go out, because I was I got to find another place to ask her to marry me. So I was trying to find a reason to go somewhere.
Decorating.
Just ended up decorating. So I told myself, it's happening here. I don't care how. I'm going to do it in this apartment, which is good, because that apartment has a lot of memories. A lot of our journey started in that apartment. Just a lot of conversations and topic. That couch that she has now, we've had so many conversations on that couch. It's kind of a funny little joke.
It was the I love you couch.
Yeah.
The first kiss
couch.
Just everything.
Talking. Yeah, talking about everything. Just, we'd be thinking about how it's easy for us to sit on a couch and talk and not have to do anything. You got out all the Christmas Christmas decorations, and you just started decorating.
Yeah, and I kept all my Christmas decorations in my guest room, so I was going in and out getting.
But we were just decorating for Christmas music running, and all that kind of thing. And towards the end, everything's starting to get settled down, and we got everything decorated and up.
And you said to me, shouldn't we clean up?
No, we were cleaning up. And so I remember thinking she had the dishwasher going. It was so noisy. I didn't want like a dishwasher running while her dishwasher was really loud. And so it finally stopped. And so she was still cleaning up. And I remember a couple times her apartment's kind of in a shape where the dining room and the kitchen are like here, right? So if you can imagine a square and like that, and then it's kind of split in half. And so I was right here, and she's around the corner in the kitchen, so she can't see me. You got to kind of go around to be able to see where I'm at.
Yeah,
and see each other. There's a wall dividing the kitchen and the living room. And the dining room's kind of off the kitchen. And so I remember a couple of times she had gone out of the room or something. I remember trying to get the ring out of my pocket because I'm gonna do it. And I could not get the stinking ring out of that little pouch. I'm like, trying to, and I just shove it back in my pocket. And I'm like, oh, okay, she comes around the corner. So I'm trying to get this ring out of this pocket. It took me 3 attempts. And finally, the third attempt is take it out, shove it back into my pocket, the ring, without the little pouchy thingy. And she finally goes around the corner into the kitchen to do something. She was putting away stuff, and she was on her little... So I remember I get down on my knee to wait for her to come around the corner. And she's cleaning. And she's cleaning. And she was in there, I swear, for like ever. And I'm like getting sore from being getting cramps from being on my knee for so long. She was cleaning. So she finally, and I didn't want to like, hey, what do you know? I just was waiting for, I was going to wait for her to naturally come around the corner. And so she finally, the funny thing is I can see her, there's the fireplace is over, she has this fake kind of fireplace, electric fireplace in the wall. And I can see her in the kitchen through the reflection. And I remember looking through that, trying to make sure when she comes around the corner, that I could be ready. And so I got to have the ring out, and I got it in my hand, and I'm on my one knee, and she comes around the corner.
So I'm finishing up in the kitchen. I remember I had a pen in my left hand and a bunch of trash paper in my right hand. And early in the evening, I was eating fruit snacks, and you had asked me for fruit snacks, but then you never ate the fruit snacks. So as I'm coming around the corner holding these things in my hand, I'm saying, hey, Patrick, do you want your fruit snack? And as I'm trying to get snack out, I come around the corner and I see him on his knee.
So you gotta see the perspective from my hand side.
This ring, something out at me, and my brain isn't registering what is happening, and I just froze about, it felt like 50 feet away from
Right, so here's
me.
my perspective is I see her come around the corner and she just stops about 15 feet away from me, and I see this. Her left hand? No, your right hand.
I had a pen in my left hand.
Left hand, so the left hand. So I just see this. Her hand just flies out like that. And that's all I see.
The pen across
Throws
the
the pen
room.
across the room. Because the only thing she can think of is I can't have a pen in my hand. And so she's just like deer in headlights standing there like, what do I do? And I'm like, you gotta come closer.
So I take 2 steps.
So she takes 2 steps, and I have to encourage her more to take more steps closer. So she finally takes a step closer, gets me close enough that I can get to her. But she won't, her hands are like this. She will not give me her hand. Totally fine. And so I say,
you took my hand.
No. No, you didn't. You never remember because the ring. So,
I don't remember.
Yeah, you don't remember because you're
I don't remember.
blue screening. So I say, Quimby DeVitt, I love you. Will you marry me? And you say yes.
I don't remember saying yes initially.
And, no, you didn't say. Did you said yes? And then
I just picked you up and started.
That's right. You just picked me up and started kissing me, and that's right. You didn't say yes. You just picked me up and started kissing and hugging me, and all this like, do you want to marry me?
And then I yelled out, yes, I'll marry you.
And I'm like, you gotta let me put the ring on your finger. So she finally gives me her finger, and I finally stick it on there and shaking it so bad. So she finally lets me put her ring on her finger, and it just was funny that you just completely checked out. You're like, checked out, deer in headlights. It was so
you
cute.
surprised me.
Yeah, so she thought I couldn't surprise her. She was telling me so many times that she had, there's no way I'm going to surprise her. She had no idea I was going to ask her to marry me. because I was playing the long game and telling her, oh, 105 days, and then making her sweat it throughout the whole weekend. So.
I actually thought that this was in November when we got engaged, and I thought that he was planning it for Christmas when we were going to go down to my parents.
Right. Nope, that's going to marry me.
So I was like, okay, I was thinking about what I was going to pack and all that kind of stuff, and
nope, want to get it done as quickly as we can.
Pop the question.
Yeah. So we are now engaged we have 77 days now. Coming up quick, so till the wedding. Getting excited, things are getting ready. We're excited to have friends and family come. We're probably gonna maybe if you guys or whoever sees this video, you can check out the stream that we want to post for those of you that can't make it to obviously the States. Sorry that it's like in Africa, South Africa, it's in the middle of the morning. I haven't done the math on that, but I'm pretty sure the sun's not up yet. But
because our wedding will be at 3 p.m. U.S. time.
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific Standard Time.
So anyway, so we're happy we could share our story with you, and we'd love to share our wedding with you, and maybe we'll try and put some other videos between here and there up. See. So stay tuned. We love you guys, and we'll hopefully see you the other side of the marriage.
Bye. Stop it. You doing the cheesy grin?
You did the whole time. You had it halfway. You're always like doing this grin thingy, like you're ballet to the camera or something.
You don't over exaggerate. You just a nice smile.
Love you.
Love you.
Oh, if it stopped, I'd be pissed.